Louisville Basketball entered March Madness with difficult pretenses. A head coach who had never seen victory in the NCAA tournament, a player who saw them being booted out of the ACC tournament, partly due to his poor performance, and another of the fan base having to deal with a player deciding to opt out in the most important part of the year that they've been waiting for since 2017. But in the end, the Cardinals would take redemption on their own. What's cooking? Welcome back into another edition of Instant Reaction on ESPN Louisville Plus. I'm Justin Soforo, and of course I got you covered for all things Cards, Cats, Bourbon, and Bluegrass. And today we are reacting to the game that was the University of Louisville Cardinals entering once more back into the NCAA tournament, led by head coach Pat Kelsey and a squad that came in and ready and were not willing to wilt under the pressure of the media and everybody else around them, telling them that the USF Bulls of the American Conference were going to be too much to handle. We're going to be the scenario that saw Louisville stutter and fall, and to see once again a big time upset as the 11 seed would take down the 6. That would not happen today under Pat Kelsey and by God, I've got to bend the freaking knee to one Isaac McNeely. Obviously, Ryan Conwell, Sananda Frew, guys playing well additionally, but today was no other word that I have except for redemption following what had happened and the fallout that came from the game against Miami, which Isaac McNeely was anything but useful. I mean, I will whatever, I'll bend the knee, whatever it takes right now, and I will fess up that I crushed Isaac McNeely. I have crushed him multiple times during this season, and a lot of times those have been warranted. Those have been earned. Isaac McNeely, a guy who's plenty of times out there, he can get you about 13, 12 points, but half the time he's given up more points on defense to the other team. This time, it would not be because of him that points were scored in the second half, but plenty of points would be scored by Isaac McNeely, who really gave them a good cushion early on in the game and early on in the second half to lead them to victory against the USF Bulls. Isaac McNeely putting together 23 points on 28 minutes, shooting 8 for 11 field goals, 7 for 10 from deep, exactly what we're looking for from him and what exactly that I've been wanting to see from Isaac McNeely for a long time. Additionally, he had 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, two turnovers and 1 steal as well. A good performance, honestly, a great performance from Isaac McNeely. And what can I say except for I'm glad that I was able to be to light a fire under him, if you will. And I get it. That's what these are. This scenario, it's a situation where this player, I'm sorry, if you don't want to hear criticism and you don't want people to be hard on your players, by all means, flip it off. Don't listen to it. Mute me on Twitter, if you will. But at the same time, these are professional athletes making more money than a lot of us will see in a year, maybe in a decade, that they'll be making for one season, playing for a team that you love and that you want to see have success long term. So, apologies, I guess, to Isaac McNeely. Thank you for what you're doing. And this is an opportunity. This is a time for Isaac McNeely to step up and be the player that he can prove to be. If he comes out on Saturday and plays against Michigan State or whoever, if Norfolk State wins this game, they are playing currently as the time that I'm recording this. If he comes out and looks like the Isaac McNeely that I've seen for most of the season, then once again, he will deserve every bit of criticism that he will receive. But today, he was the hero of the game, and maybe, just maybe, he's given me a little bit of optimism that he could potentially be the story of the NCAA tournament if for some or dream or hope that this Cardinals team can put together a run in this tournament. Some other players, obviously, of note, guys, they were able to put together good performances. Ryan Conwell, 18 points. Javon Hadley, 10. Sananda Frew, another 10 as well. I also appreciated a lot of the fight that Zuger showed there in multiple parts of the game, especially there at the end. Let's talk about the game that was a fantastic defensive performance, or maybe, obviously I hate to take away anything coming off the celebrations of winning a game in the NCAA tournament, being able to survive in advance, being able to continue this thing on, the dream that we have as Louisville fans. Thankfully, piss poor shooting by South Florida for a majority of this game. I think they went, 5 for 32, if I had that correctly. Let me go ahead and pull up those numbers right now. 5 for 33 from three-point range, shooting 15%, which is just uncharacteristic of the South Florida Bulls. We talk about a poor man's Louisville, that this is the team that I expected. And Louisville, for the most part, did what I expected. They went out there and handled their business. The first half was probably a lot more of what I expected out of this Louisville team. The second half was a tale of two quarters, I guess you could say. Louisville came out there and got a large 22-point lead, put them in a hole, and just made you feel confident, gave you something to pump that chest up out there a little bit about. Something that, really, like I said, with Louisville basketball, I haven't been able to feel in the NCAA tournament since my 20s, which is sad to say now. So I'm thankful for that. Unfortunately, things did fall apart there. And that is something that makes me a little bit concerned and worried about this game against Michigan State. If you can't lock it up, if you can't clean it up, there was just a lot of sloppiness after we got a little bit of high and mighty, a little bit excited about where this meant, or what we were putting together out there. Just a little bit of pressure, a little bit of press made this team freaking collapse. It's what we saw early in the season. The same thing that worried us early on when Louisville played some teams that showed the ability to press at all. As soon as Louisville gets pressed, I don't like it's I'm trying to think the exact words that I want to use to describe it, but just the inability to handle the ball, to hold on to it, just completely falling apart immediately once any sign of adversity or any kind of pressure came on this team. In the end, they were able to tough it out and pull it out and win this game, unfortunately only by a 4-point margin after having a 22-point lead in the second half, 83-79. I think that's something that hopefully that'll at least give these guys a little bit of a slap in the head, if you will, a wake-up call and say, hey, we've got to be able to figure this out. We've got to be able to figure out some mental fortitude to be able to control the ball and move the ball down the court. My biggest issue was really just a lot of situational awareness. I typed it all in all caps on my Twitter, as I tend to do. I think I was a little bit more reserved this game, if you will, but I did type that out saying just be situationally aware of what is happening on the floor. You have, in certain circumstances, at least one guy, but definitely two a lot of other times, down the court wide open just for you to go launch the ball down to them. But instead, you're so focused on this little corner where you're at that you just completely give up and allow for turnovers. There's a lot of calls, though, where I had a friend text me, literally the meme of Captain Falcon from Super Smash Bros. Melee, Falcon punching, and literally saying, is that what it takes to get USF a foul call for USF on Louisville? Because they were absolutely slapping, ball hucking, going in and at our guys, in their chest, in their throat. It's almost obscene, the amount of slapping around that was happening, especially given all the calls that were early on in the game. Louisville basketball was actually having their way early on, getting them in early foul trouble called left and right. And then in the second half, it's like they completely flipped the way they were calling it and just said, well, South Florida's going to do it now. So we can't keep calling it because then we're going to have no players to play the game. So we're just going to let them get away with it. We're going to let them slap Louisville as much as they want. And they took advantage of that and were able to whittle Louisville down. And there was just some carelessness that's really got to get cleaned up if they're going to go on and take a coach like Tom Izzo and Michigan State, and if they're going to have a chance, if that's who they're going to end up playing in the end. But no matter what, in the round of 32, you're going to have a more difficult situation regardless. So Louisville basketball, you got 24, 48 hours to clean this thing up and get it rolling. Guys, I'm happy. I'm not ecstatic because this is not still the standard of Louisville basketball. You hear Ethan Moore and Taylor Lynch and me and Creighton and Diener and Blank and guys like you may view as more negative or just more realistic, if you will. If you want cheer, rah, happiness all the time, we ain't the people for you. But if you want real fans that are going to hold a standard to this program, want to see the greatness that we've had, listen to what we have to say. the goal, I think, now for Pat Kelsey, I hate to put this on him and act like it means nothing, because it does mean something. He proves that he's able to win a game in a high pressure situation, and a game where multiple media personalities are choosing to pick the upset, to go against you. That being said, I still need something to show me that Pat Kelsey is one of those next level coaches that can go out there, put together a winning game against a winning program, winning against the Michigan State. I'm sorry to go back to that but if Rick Pitino were here right now, I would feel confident that Rick Pitino was going to go out there and whip up on some Izzo ass, and Izzo would be crying and whining about how Gorgie Yang hit a 3 again, and he doesn't shoot threes, he hit a 3, that kind of stuff. But I think right now is also the big story of what could happen. And again, I know I'm getting ahead of myself talking about Izzo, because by the time you watch this video, maybe Izzo got upset. Maybe they've done it multiple times in the past. Maybe Norfolk State is the team. But if it is Izzo, to me, this is your moment, PK. This is your moment. Izzo went out there and called you out on the spot, and smiled and laughed and all that kind of stuff about the whole premise, and calling you out as a coach, and just saying, lack of integrity and all that, by going out there and getting a guy like London Johnson. Well, now's your moment. Now's your moment to take it to his throat and shove it right down his throat. Go beat Michigan State. Go win and progress to the Sweet 16 and show Louisville basketball fans, the doubters, if you will, guys like me, sometimes I'm sorry, win them back over, and do it for this program, and of course for yourself. Let me know your thoughts and opinions, guys, in the comment section down below. If you haven't already, smash that freaking like button, hit the subscribe button. If you are happy that Louisville basketball is back in the win column when it comes to the NCAA tournament, smash that like button, share the video out. You can follow me at Justin Soforo on Twitter. Of course, you can follow ESPN 680 93 the Ville, all our other platforms, but do that. And guys, I will see you all next time. Go Cards, baby. Beat Michigan State or Norfolk State. See ya.